Rebels, it's Movie Monday, and guess where we are? That's right, we're at GenRight Off-Road to find out how genuine ideas are engineered right. Let's head on in and say hello to Tony. Hey Tony.
Hey Bond, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Good to see you guys.
Thanks for having Rebel Off-Road down to see GenRight.
Absolutely. You want to take a tour? I'll show you what makes this place tick.
Let's head on in.
All right, let's go.
Tony, tell us a little bit about the history behind GenRight.
Sure. I founded the company about 8 years ago, and GenRight is actually short for Genuine Ideas Engineered Right. We started out with gas tanks. I was in the process of building my Jeep, put a Dana 60 in the back, and sure enough, axle smacked right into the gas tank. So one of the first things I did was manufacture a gas tank that would allow more clearance for that giant Dana 60. And that kind of evolved into bigger tires, where we learned that we needed to stretch the wheelbase, and so on and so forth. Went to my first Easter Jeep Safari and sold 50 tanks just like that, and that was really what kicked the whole thing off. And immediately people were asking for, what else do I make? They saw the good quality and they knew whatever we made they'd be interested in. So this is where we do all the packaging and assembly of all the products, and they're coming from the production area into this area. They'll be inspected. Each of these guys that touches the parts is responsible for checking the welds, the quality, the finish. If it's not perfect, it's got to go back and get retouched, and then it can come over and get packaged. Once we're packaging, there's one guy that puts it in the box, and there's another guy that checks it to make sure it got all the right hardware, everything's perfect before that box is sealed. All right, so here's a good example of parts that just came out of our production steel welding area. We've got two welding areas, so this came out of here, and these parts are now going to be boxed, and these are part of a roll cage.
Gotcha.
So they'll be assembled into a full cage now, and then boxed up and ready for shipment. We actually have it all diagrammed out, and the guys have to put all the pieces in, then we make sure nothing gets forgotten. There's also a checklist like that, where then the guy that's putting it in the box will literally check off each item. All the tubes are part numbered, so then they just check it all off. Another guy signs for it, and then we know we've got a complete cage in there. What this is, this house is about 20 roll cages, the pieces for them. Some of our cages have common tubes, so then we can choose the tubes instead of pre-packaging them. It's really easy for us to build up a cage in just a few minutes. So this area here, you can see some finished gas tanks that are getting ready to be pressure tested and then fitted with a skid plate as they're assembled and then packaged. Along here, we've got all the corner guard inventory, and we carry, of course, both steel and aluminum in many of our products. So, lots of roll cage tubes. So, a lot of things going on here all the time. We've got a big warehouse here where we're stocking all this stuff. All right, so I know that we're doing some pressure testing on gas tanks. Let's head over there and take a look at that.
Great. We're over here at GenRight's tank testing facility. Tony, can you tell us about the testing?
Sure, yeah, this is each tank after it's welded has to pass a 24-hour pressure test. That way we're sure there's no leaks, because if it'll hold air, it'll certainly hold liquid. So everyone after they pass this test gets serial numbered in the book, and then it gets assembled into a skid plate. This is really the product that started it for us. Once I made this tank, this allowed you to put a bigger axle in it, change your suspension. We got away from track bars and went into 4 links and stretching, and in the JK, this is allowing you to do a 4-link, because up until now, where you still had the gas tank in the middle, you weren't even able to do that.
One of the things I like about the gas tanks is we have customers that are doing expeditions, and we have customers that just want to be able to get very creative with suspension.
Yeah. Having
your gas tanks gives us the ability to offer these customers both unique scenarios.
Yeah, and the gas tank, it's really a nice piece, because we were able to reshape it and do things, but still keep the same capacity as stock. So that was really kind of a magic trick in able to do that. And then we offer several different models and different pump configurations, and So, you know, we really made it so that the guy who was building his Jeep had a lot of options on which direction he wanted to go. Even on a JK, you can add this tank as a secondary tank just so you have another 20 gallons.
So we're over here in your welding facility. Can you tell us a little bit about it? I see it's broken up into 2 different areas. Yeah,
the production department has 8 people over here. We've got 3 aluminum welders and 3 steel welders, and then a couple guys to feed them. Because there's a lot of cutting of tubes and those things, and we want to make sure the welders are doing what their skill is. So the aluminum side has to be much cleaner, requires a different kind of a machine, and obviously much higher level welder as well. On the steel side, they share some common equipment here in the middle, but then the steel side, all the production's over on that side using MIG welders, where over here we're using TIG welders. So, and a little bit different combination of gas and things that they're ideal for aluminum. In this case, Billy just finished one of our 8245 JK bumpers. Yeah, it's still warm. So, and then what we're going to do is walk around the corner here and see one of the welders finishing one of our tire carriers.
Well, I see they're working on the tire carriers, and that's actually one of our favorite products that you do. It's very unique. Let's go have a look.
Let's go take a look. So right now, he's finishing one of the tire carriers. He's adding on the actual license plate mount right now. So this is one of the final processes for this product in this production run we've got going right here. The mount that he's welding on right now, you can actually flip the tire from high to low, and it's a 3-inch difference. So if you need more visibility out of the rearview mirror or you need more ground clearance, you just flip the mount, and then you've got that tire moving up and down.
What size tire can you actually run in these? We run them on 40s all day long.
Yeah, it's designed to take up to a 42-inch tire and hold the weight just fine. And you know, 42 is typically a 14 or 1550. Yep. So it's a pretty wide tire, and it fits in here. You can see how light it is. It's less than 20 pounds. He just flips it around like it's nothing.
Now these are available both in steel as well as aluminum, correct?
Yes, yeah. And this bond really is just our classic American-made product right here. I mean, this has got all the craftsmanship. All these beautiful welds are done by hand by some of our best guys, and this is really what GenRight's all about right here.
Well, you can see, because on the aluminum, the welds are always exposed. There's nothing covered up there. You can see how well made it is.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, we just tell customers, leave it the way it is. We'll Scotch-Brite it as we tune it up before it ships, and you don't have to do anything to it. You don't have to paint it, powder coat it, nothing. Just every once in a while, you can Scotch-Brite it and it looks like brand new.
Very good.
So for the longest time, we didn't put our logo on any of the products, but over the years, as our brand developed more popularity, people are now asking us to tastefully put our logo in some of our parts. So we've just recently come up with this very passive, it's a brand new logo for us, our new GR, in the parts. It's just engraved, and if you paint it, it'll still show. If you leave it, it's fine. But again, a little bit more tasteful. We know that you guys don't want a rolling billboard going down the road, so it's really just something that lets people know you spent the money for the top quality American-made stuff.
So tell us what area we're inside of here. Last time I was here, I saw race cars inside of here and a whole bunch of vehicles.
Yeah, well, as we've grown over the years, we've had to expand, and yeah, this used to be the R&D area and race car area. Now we've improved the flow, so we're working a little smarter of our facility, and this is now the shipping department. So all of the pallets are staged here, and this is where it's all going out the door.
Where are you keeping the race car and the actual race facilities then?
That's a good question. So that's a new building that we have across the street, and we'll go over there in just a minute.
Great.
All right, we're across the street over at GenRight Motorsports. This is where we do all of our R&D design, kind of our skunk works area. The race car's done over here. This is really what the public doesn't get to see, but where the really cool stuff, all my top guys work over in this building, and you know, it's the cool stuff going on.
Speaking of R&D, how does GenRight go about coming up with the concepts of the different products?
Great question. What we do is we download the actual files from Jeep and bring those into SolidWorks, where we can take all of the pieces, whether it's the body parts or the frame parts. In this case, Richard's working on our brand new Elite JK suspension, and we do all the design work here. We actually even go as far as our instructions are able to come from these drawings. I mean, it really makes for a very nice platform for us to do all of our development you know, Chrysler had really updated things. So we're able to do the roll cages. We've got a lot more interior detail. There's a whole bunch of things where we did the dash. Everything was done here for the Terremoto, and now that's all being offered to the public. All right, so now we come out into the race shop where all the cool stuff happens. In this building, we've got not only the race car, but all of the parts. We've got an engine room over here. We've got additional lifts where we do our product development. We work on a lot of our own vehicles. So yeah, this is really where it all happens, including the test fitting of those parts we just saw on the screen. So let's walk over and check that out.
What are we looking at here, Tony?
Well, actually, that's a great question. These are the parts that we just saw on the screen in SolidWorks. These are the first articles. So they've all been laser cut, bent. In this case, these tubes are all mitered and everything comes out, and then we've got to weld it together and it's ready for test fit on our Jeep.
Tony, you and GenRight have had great success at King of the Hammers. You've podiumed twice. Can you tell us how being both a manufacturer and a racer tie in together when it comes to your products?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Originally, we got into racing as a means to get our name out there more and kind of get some additional credibility in the marketplace. And now it has become, you know, we've done it for 5 years now. It has become a platform for us to trickle down what we've learned here into the products that we're offering to the public. So it's really worked out well, actually. It's an accelerated R&D process, if you will.
Rebels, here's some behind-the-scenes action at GenRight, something that not everybody gets to see. Tony, tell us a little bit about what we're looking at right here.
Yeah, this is a Jeep that Chrysler supplied us to actually take our cages and different parts and fit. So just like we were looking at on the TJ cage that you saw in SolidWorks, we designed this one in SolidWorks, and this is the first article that we're now fitting into a four-door JK. This is a complete real cage for a four-door JK. It goes all the way to the floor, and we actually add extra pillars. We do harness bars. In this particular case, we're fitting it with the stock seats. We already know that it works with aftermarket seats. And now it's just a matter of making those fine-tuned small tweaks. This one is laser cut and puzzled just like the other cages we were looking at. All right, so here's a good example. Even though we get all the files directly from Jeep, we still bring in, this is a 2014 that we brought in to test fit all of our parts to make sure that they didn't make some running change that we're not aware of, that once it gets to you guys, you're there fighting with. We want to make sure everything still fits perfectly. All right, our rocker guards are another product that we designed in SolidWorks for that just perfect fit and finish. We're sitting here at our Terremoto that we built for last year's SEMA, and you can see how nicely this installed on here. It's been clearance for the big tires. It's got all the features you want in a rocker. What you can't see is that this is actually a three-piece design with an inner skeleton. So this inner skeleton not only helps you mount it on the vehicle because it locates all the pieces, but it supports this outer slider skin, which also ties into the body mounts. I mean, this is a very, very solid structure. It was designed as a real rocker guard for the guys that are really out wheeling these and using giant tires. So it's a great product for not only fit and finish, but function.
Tony, thank you very much for having Rebel Off-Road down to GenRight's facilities.
Sure, it's always a pleasure to have you guys down here and a chance for you to give your viewers a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at how we make parts right here in the United States. For more information about GenRight parts, go over to rebeloffroad.com to learn more about all the GenRight products that they sell.